Yeah, that'll be perfect.
Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you. Through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Let a dancing song be heard. Play the music, say the words. Fill the sky with sailing birds, and let it be a dance. Learn to follow, learn to lead. Feel the rhythm, feel the need. To reap the harvest, plant the seed. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you. Through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Everybody turn and spin. Let your body learn to bend. Like a willow in the wind. Let it be a dance. A child is born, the old must die. A time for joy, a time to cry. So take it as it passes by, and let it be a dance. Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you. Through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. The morning star comes out at night. Without the dark there is no light. If nothing's wrong, then nothing's right. So let it be a dance. Let the sunshine, let it rain. Share the laughter, bear the pain. Round and round we go again. So let it be a dance. Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you. Through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance.
Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see see you. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. To see you high and lifted up, shining in the light of your glory. Lord, pour out your power and love. Makes me sing, holy, holy, holy. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. See you high and lifted up, shining in the light of your glory. Lord, pour out your power and love as we sing, holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. You are holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. I want to see you. Holy, holy, holy. You are holy, holy, holy. Lord, you're holy, holy, holy. I want to see you. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. I want to see you. I want to see you.
Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Nothing in the universe will ever last. So if you're feeling low, this too shall pass. Nothing in the universe will ever last. So if you're feeling low, this too shall pass. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Sha la 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 la, sha la 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 la. Sha la 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 la, sha la 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 la. Even when the darkness seems to hide your way, after every night a brand new day. Even when the darkness seems to hide your way, after be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Sha-la-la-la-la, sha-la-la-la-la-la. Sha-la-la-la-la, sha-la-la-la-la-la.
Even when it all just seems to go your way, don't get attached, it's gonna change. Even when it all just seems to go your way, don't get attached, it's gonna change.
Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end.
It's not the end. It's not the end. It's not the end. It's not the end. It's not the end. It's not the end. It's not the end. It's not the end.
Armand and Angelina, y'all remember them? That's theirs. That's their song. Yeah. I don't know about y'all, but I needed this song this morning.
Very nice job, as always, and welcome everybody. So today is February 9th. Anybody has a phone on, make sure you turn your phone off. It's a good time to do that. And our first song after that will be Beginning Today, and if we would, please stand and enjoy. Beginning Today.
Beginning today, my mornings are yours, the hopes that dawn in their light. Beginning today, my evenings and dreams, my gift to you is my life. I will always remember the time you first called me out of my empty sleep, to waken in me the hope of a new day, the love I wanted to see. Today, my mornings are yours, the hopes that dawn in their light. Beginning today, my evenings and dreams, my gift to you is my life. You gave me your life, Lord, a sign of the springtime beginning in me each day. You made me a child with wonder and love, Lord, to newly discover your way. Today, my mornings are yours, the hopes that dawn in their light. Beginning today, my evenings and dreams, my gift to you is my life. You are the Lord who forgave all my failings and lovingly called me to try. You are the rainfall that offered the seedling the chance to grow to the sky. Beginning today, my mornings are yours, the hopes that dawn in their light. Beginning today, my evenings and dreams, my gift to you is my life. And I promise this day I will sing for the world the song we begin to share, to fill up tomorrow with sounds of our love, Lord, the hopes and dreams that we bear. Beginning today, my mornings are yours, the hopes that dawn in their light. Beginning today, my evenings and dreams, my gift to you is my life.
All right. Beginning today. All right, everybody, welcome again. Let us pray. Let's take a moment and do our opening prayer. If you would, you want to just relax and maybe close your eyes, kind of get quiet. As we open our hearts and our minds to receive divine inspiration this morning at this very special place and time. May we allow the Spirit to inform us of what is ours to release and what is ours to embrace. We open up and we release and we receive as Spirit moves in, around, and through us. And we are grateful for this glorious morning and for all of those who are serving today of their gifts and their talents. May we each be blessed in a very special way. So I want to welcome you again to Unity of Gulfport. By a show of hands, do we have any first-time guests? Anybody new here? All right, well, thanks for coming back. We get to do our weekly affirmation. Weekly affirmation goes as this. Again, you can close your eyes if you like. Take a deep breath. Think about the week ahead, how it's going to be amazing. We come together to affirm and celebrate our unity, our oneness with each other, and with the source of all that is. In that spirit of unity, let us pause to unfold in light and love all people in our community and in our world. And our candle, the candle of unity, it signifies the light within each of us and our connection to the source of all that is. And so it is. Now together, let's affirm our faith as we say, I have faith that God is my instant, constant, and abundant supply. I have faith that God provides ways when to human sense there is no way. I have faith that God is guiding me in all ways. My health, my happiness, and my success are assured. Amen. All right, so we got us another great song from our wonderful musicians. This one's going to be Let Go of the Shore. Let it go.
Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. Yes, you have all you need. It's all inside of you. Just close your eyes and breathe and know that you are safe. Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. No need to make a plan. Your heart will be your compass. Just lift your sails in faith and trust that you will arrive.
float into the mystery.
Very awesome. Very awesome. Floated away from the shore. You know, Matt and I have the pleasure of working at the Beau Rivage. Matt's away today, taking people, driving people by bus, probably right now down to New Orleans for the Super Bowl. But I was thinking when you were about the shoreline is the Beau Rivage, if you don't know, it means something. It means the beautiful shoreline. So anytime I'm welcoming people at work, which I did last night, I say, welcome to the beautiful shoreline. So there you go. How about that? So we get to learn a little bit or hear the daily word about power from the powerful Pamela Piath. So come on up here and let's do the daily word, Miss Pam.
I love this one today. Can y'all hear me? I don't never use the mic. Power's the subject today, February 9th, 2025. I love it, not only just because of the Super Bowl. I love it because Jesus and God's power in us, it's so unbelievably dynamic. I have the power to choose my thoughts and direct my life. I'm going to read it again. I have the power to choose my thoughts and direct my life. Feeling my power from within means I am grounded in spiritual truth and understanding. I speak my mind with calm certainty and change my mind whenever I choose. I live in a state of inner security and mastery. If I wish to make changes, I take dominion of myself and have faith in my innate power as a spiritual being. We may have all done this. In the past, I may have looked outside myself to feel powerful, taking on another's beliefs or affiliating with something outside of myself. Now I understand true power comes from within. I take dominion over my thoughts and my feelings. I live my truth in confidence, knowing my thoughts derive from divine ideas. One with God, I have the power to create my life. Again, one with God, I have the power to create my life. All from within. And the scripture is 2 Timothy 1:7. For God did not give us a spirit of cowardice, but rather a spirit of power and of love and of self-discipline. And I'm just going to say a quick story. I have been using this for 40, 50 years. I sent this to my mother, and she was a Methodist years ago, and she thought it was a cult. But when she discovered it wasn't, because she read it, she finally read them, she wouldn't let it go one day without it. She's not here anymore, but I mailed them to her no matter where I live because they're so dynamic. And I got to tell you this, I take out certain ones and put them in a book that I think are just so meaningful to me. And I need this for a lot of days. I got to have that strength and that extra power, knowing that it's from God and Jesus within me. I can do wonderful things. So I keep it in my book. I take them out and put in my book. So it's just a thought. And y'all have a wonderful week.
Very awesome job. Yeah, Friday's daily word was very good too. It was a tough day, and it talked about protection, and God is within me through life's challenges. So that's right, Miss Pam. I love the daily word, and I love going up to Unity to celebrate the 100th anniversary of it. Pretty cool. So we got a bunch of announcements. That'll be the next slide up there, and they're also on the back of the bulletin. And biggest first things coming up is on February the 11th. We have the Unity Song Circle. Sherry, we should be playing that, doing that at 6 o'clock on the 11th. Reverend Judy's Sunday morning discussions are always on the first and the third Sundays at 9:15 in our fellowship hall. We have a food pantry in the fellowship hall, and that's led by Miss Nay, and she does that work. It's great work in the neighborhood, but it's also to help our congregation right here. If you have or need someone that may need something, please take one of the bags that's provided, fill it up, and the food has been blessed, and we know that it will be used for its highest good. So very, very awesome kind of a ministry, right? And after church on Sunday the 16th, that's next week, we will have early birthday celebration for Miss Nay in the fellowship hall with cake, ice cream, beer, and booze. No, I'm leaking. Just cake and ice cream. Oops. Charles. Oh. The Girl Scout cookies are here. We'll get that on the recording. Awesome. We know about Silent Unity. If you have a prayer request in the back, you can put your little prayer in that box right there, and our little team here will pray for you, and also celebrate that by sending it up to Silent Unity. Your prayer will be prayed for 30 days up there. There's thousands and thousands of prayers every day being prayed up there at Unity Village in Silent Unity. It's an amazing place. And now I get to introduce our speaker. Who's our speaker today? Reverend Fabulous Judy Voght. She'll be coming up, and then we have some meditative music. So come on up, Miss Judy. Let's speak.
You're pretty fabulous yourself, Doug. We are trying. And here we are on Super Bowl Sunday, and I wouldn't even know that if people hadn't told me, right? But I was telling Vicki, she and I were talking earlier, and I was saying, you know, I remember when I was pretty young, I followed the football teams. I had my favorites, and we watched the games, and now I don't even know who's playing or why. But this has become my activity, and I just love it. I'm Judy Voght, as he said, and if you haven't been here long, I'll just tell you I am a licensed and ordained Unity Worldwide Ministries minister. I have served here on the Gulfport coast since almost 20 years, if we can believe that, since the fall of 2005. My husband and I came with Katrina. And we stayed. And I love it here. We love being involved with the children in this neighborhood in particular. And the way we do that is that Miss Nay, and she's not here today, so a big part of our youth group won't be here today, but she really reaches out into this neighborhood and brings the kids in, and we just love it. We hope that we're making a difference in their lives. They are certainly making a difference in ours, aren't they? Such wonderful kids. We have a couple here of youth this morning, three. We're glad you're here. And I will try, Jeremiah, not to be too boring, okay? I don't want you. I promise. His friends aren't here. Now I've embarrassed him. I'm sorry. We announced about your Girl Scout cookies while you were out of the room, so everybody knows. I even took $20 out of my husband's pocket to pay her already because I had not paid yet. How wonderful it is to be here this morning. It's just so wonderful. The topic I'm going to talk about in a few minutes is one that's really close to my heart, and I chose the title of The Power of Empathy, but not being overwhelmed. But I also understand that there are just many degrees of empathy, aren't there? There's caring, and we know that there's sympathy, empathy, and compassion. And I'm going to talk about those in a few minutes. But the reason I mention it now is because it reminded me so much of our prayer chaplain training. Because in our prayer chaplain training, and we're going to do that again, the pandemic changed everything. We used to have two prayer chaplains up here, one on either side of the room. They were wearing a stole and these banners up here that say Unity of Gulfport. It also says on the other side, prayer chaplain. And we had a group of about 20, and they had all been trained. And what we're trained to do as a prayer chaplain is this. And you'll see where I'm going with the connection to empathy. We first center ourselves and we create a sacred space. We learn to create sacred space around us before we listen lovingly to the other that has the prayer request. And what we do when we create sacred space around us is nothing more than what we ask you to do every Sunday morning at this time during our quiet time. And I will usually say, let's close our eyes, become comfortable, and if you would do that now. Become comfortable where you are. And as you do that, allow your focus to go inward. And by closing your eyes and relaxing the muscles around your eyes, it allows your focus to go inward. And here is the place that you are creating sacred space for yourself and others. When you've done this, you've actually gone from one zone of consciousness to another. By allowing your focus to go inward, you're allowing your consciousness, your awareness, to go a bit higher and join in with the consciousness of God. And from that place, you see things differently. You feel things differently. And if you are praying or listening to another, you're listening from the ears of God rather than from the human perspective. And you're seeing them in this way. And that's what I want us to do this morning with our own issues in our own lives. I know there are several. I know we have a lot going on. I know that there's so much going on in the world right now, and it will easily pull us off center, off balance, even to the point of wanting to rebel, revolt, whatever it is it tempts us to do at the moment. And I would just invite you this moment to go within and consider the things that are going on in the world and view them from this sacred space that we just created. And you might even say, okay, I see this is in the ethers right now because it's going to make us be better human beings. You may see other things that are going on and you'll say, oh, this is the right path. I see the good that's coming from this. But if you can let go for a few minutes of your human perspective, and see from a higher place, you can also pray and claim from a higher place, God, I know that all will be well. And in that knowing and in that faithful place, I place my trust. That as the song said earlier, if all is not well, it will be soon. And we trust that and believe. And so it is. Amen.
Make me a channel of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me bring your love. Where there is injury, your pardon, Lord. And where there's doubt, true faith in you. Make me a channel of your peace. Where there's despair in life, let me bring hope. Where there is darkness, only light. And where there's sadness, ever joy. Oh, Master, grant that I may never see so much to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love with all my soul. Make me a channel of your peace. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned, in giving to all men that we receive, and in dying that we're born to eternal life. Oh, Master, grant that I may never see so much to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love with all my soul. Make me a channel of your peace. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned, in giving to all men that we receive, and in dying that we're born to eternal life.
Thank you so much. That was beautiful as always, always, always. And Tony, we're glad you're here today, and we look forward to seeing you again on stage. We miss you. He's had a bit of a cold or flu, and I understand his voice is a little gruff, but we wouldn't mind. Anyway, we look forward to seeing you on the stage again. The music circle, those that want to attend that's Tuesday, is it, Sherry? Tuesday. And it's really fun. Those that have an instrument and want to come, they just sit in a circle, nothing formal about it, choose a song, and the others play along with them if they can, or sing, or whatever. It's really informal, a lot of fun. And I know, I recognize there's a lot of illness, a lot going on in our own congregation. We have some whose cancer diagnosis reappeared. JR in particular. How is JR doing, Christy? Heading back to needs our prayers. He and Helen are headed back over to Ochsner in New Orleans, where he goes for treatment, and he'll be there the week, and it makes him pretty weak. Our thoughts are with him. We have others that have taken a fall in rehab, another that had a fall and had surgery last week, and we're just others with other inconveniences or illnesses or losses, and we certainly hold all of those in our hearts for healing. We certainly do. So this morning, as I mentioned earlier, we're continuing with the series that I started in January, and this week we're talking about empathy and how to have empathy without overwhelm. Because for so many of us, we don't seem to have an off switch when it comes for our empathy and compassion and doing for others. And as it turns out, you must. You absolutely must if you're going to be effective for others and for yourself. Because the old saying is so true, you cannot give from an empty well. And so it's important to know when you have given all that you should at that moment and you need rest yourself. But first, let's talk about what empathy, compassion. Sympathy is typically the feeling of sorrow or pity at seeing someone's situation. You may feel that when you see a homeless person and your pity goes out to them, your sympathy. And then empathy is deep listening and understanding the emotions of the other person, and even feeling and remembering when something like that may have happened to you. And compassion is the same thing, except it adds the element of how can I help? You take a proactive approach to alleviating the suffering of others. Sometimes the lines are blurred too between the empathy and compassion and the sympathy. And when we listen with empathy, as I said, it's why it reminded me of the prayer chaplain training, because we learn first to be still, create sacred space within, allow God, Spirit, to come into the situation, and then you be authentic. Be authentic. Be you. Be you. Let your guard down. Let your guard down and be the real you. Not stilted, not too humble, but just be you. Be still. Be open. Be gentle with the other person. I know also in grief support, one of the first things we learn is the person that's in grief, they don't need your advice. They really don't. They need you to listen. When they've had a terrible loss, all they need you to do is listen And don't give advice, especially if you don't know what's going on with them or you've never had that experience. But the temptation sometimes is that when we're in conversation, and we all know this, we somehow feel like we need to say something, don't we? We just need to say something. And are you too cold? Debbie, are you cold? We can turn, okay, all right, sorry. Didn't want to draw you out. I just want to make sure we don't have anyone too uncomfortable. We put the air on because when we got here this morning, it was already 75 in the room, and we needed to bring it down a bit. So isn't that unusual for February the 9th? And you have the air on, but we can raise it a couple of degrees if we need to. But when someone has experienced a loss, sometimes they just need somebody to listen to them. And they don't need advice, just to listen. Sometimes, and I've shared this with you at different times too, I've had friends, or maybe I've been the one that's had a friend, a close friend, and you've called your friend and said, would you pray with me? Would you pray with me? That's active empathy too. That's being there for another. You don't need to say anything. You just need to create sacred space and be there for them. Ask a prayer. It doesn't need to be anything formal or big. Just, God, be with my friend now. She's suffering. She's hurting. She doesn't know if she can make it from one minute to the next. Would you be with her in her pain and her loss? And this can especially be true in times when someone has lost a partner, whether by death or divorce or separation. And their world can be turned upside down to the point that they don't know what they're going to do the next moment or how they're going to live through it. And having a friend that they can call, that they can talk to, and maybe, as I said, they don't need to say anything except pray for me, be there for me. And that's just how tough the situation sometimes with some of the personal pain that we can go through. And being that friend, being there for them, creating that sacred space, and that empathy, just being there for them, it's huge. It's huge. You might have a loss of a loved one, breakup. You may have a friend that has a problem at work, and they just want to talk it over with you. And then they may ask if you have any ideas or advice. And if you do, then share them, but listen compassionately. And here's something else that's critically important, okay? And that's one of the things that we learned in prayer chaplaincy, but it's also something that's important in our ethical being on this earth and relating to the others, and that is confidentiality. Confidentiality. If someone shares something with you and you're lovingly listening, and then you gently go away after praying with them, going your own way, you have the responsibility. You have a responsibility that is sacred. And that's a sacred trust that whatever was shared with you, you don't share it with anybody. It's confidential. A lot of people didn't learn that when they were growing up. Did you know that? Did you know that? I even heard of a lady that said, well, I don't want the board of directors talking about that because the next thing you know, there's going to be gossip. What? Gossip? From a confidential meeting? It hit me as odd when I heard the other person that had shared it with me. thought, man, I don't know about that. All I know about is confidentiality, and that's in rooms and conversations that are not to be shared anywhere. They're sacred. That's a sacred trust. That goes beyond what even I was talking about here with empathy. People may forget what you told them. They probably will. Actually, they often do. They may even forget what you did for them. That happens too. But what they will never forget is how you made them feel. And if you're haughty and made them feel insignificant, guess what? That's what they're going to remember. If you didn't have time to listen to them, you were rushed, you were going from one place to another, the best thing to do in a situation like that is stop for a moment and say, you know, at this moment, I do not have time to go into this conversation. I can pray with you quietly. I can hold your hands. We can have a moment of silence. And then I can call you later and we can talk about that. But if someone truly wants to connect with you, they want you to listen, and you don't have time, the best thing might be to do that and say, I will hold you in prayer, and I love you, but at this moment, I need to run. I need to run. And if you're overwhelmed and don't have time for that later conversation, that's another matter too, and we'll discuss that in a moment. But how you made someone feel is something they will never forget. Never. In a work environment, if a coworker tried to make you feel stupid because they could feel better about themselves, anybody ever had that happen? No, of course not. Even a teacher. It happens. A classmate, we know when we were kids how the children in school, I mean, it's what they do, isn't it? They don't seem to know any better, and they just seem to do that to each other. And we're just praying that we'll be a good influence on them and teach them not to do that with each other. I just hate to read, one of the things I hate is to read about bullies anywhere, really. And especially with children in school. Such a terrible thing to happen. So we just, we pray, and we pray that we'll raise our children to have empathy with others and not to do that to another child or anybody. I'll never forget, I went into a workplace, and for some reason the manager's little boy was there, and it was a big place, it was a factory, and at that time it was one that I had some involvement and can't remember exactly what it was, but the little guy, he may have been 5 years old, and he stood up real blustery. He says, you know, my dad is the boss here, and he tells everybody what to do. And the little kid tried to emulate that. I noticed that as I was there. He was walking around to the receptionist's desk, and I thought, man, your dad's not a very good role model, is he? I remember thinking that very thing. Our children are watching us. They're watching us, everything they do. And I would assume that little boy, too, turned out to be just like his role model dad, wouldn't you think? Wouldn't you think? I don't have much time for someone that's a bully. I sure don't. People will never forget how you made them feel. I was thinking about that yesterday, and it reminded me of a blog post, and I placed a copy of the blog post. I printed a few copies of it and put it on the back table just in case you'd like to read it. My blog is soul2soul.blog, and I place something on it, I don't know, every so often, not every week, or maybe sometimes twice a week, but whenever I feel like it. And it was, I told some friends at a board meeting the other day, I laughed, and on Friday I said, well, when I was thinking about what I was talking about today, I remembered a quote. And I remembered the quote, and it was, Grace will pull up a chair and sit with you. And actually, that's the title of the blog post that I had written. And so I was looking for, who's that quote from? Who was that quote from? Because I wanted to quote them today. And so as I did a search on it on Google, I found that I was the one that said that. It was attributed to me. And I was just so impressed. I didn't know what to say. I said, wow, that lady got my attention. But I wrote this little blog post, and that was the title of it. Grace will pull up a chair and sit with you. And in the blog post, it was August 19th, 2022. And what had happened that summer was that we had a speaker that particular Sunday, and I had the week off and felt like I really needed to do something. We had a whole lot of activity at our house. My husband was totally rebuilding it, which is what he always does when we buy a house. He rebuilds it, then we sell it, and then he buys another one and rebuilds it, and we've done that for years and years. It's our normal, okay? Everybody else may have been in a house for 20 years. Good for you. I think that's great. He enjoys rebuilding. I enjoy decorating it. And so it's been a good thing for us to do. But from now on, he's not selecting any more big houses because I'm over it, okay? I'm over it, okay? So he had all this construction going on. He had taken down walls. I don't know how many walls, but the house is much better for it. And so I said, you know what, I'm just going to go do something different because I wasn't needed, and I don't like being there with all that stuff going on. So I noticed there was a cruise going out of Mobile, and I had never been on a cruise at that time. I said, well, I think I'm just going to take myself on a cruise. I need that experience. I need to learn how you do this. I like to learn how to do things like that. If it's going overseas, international somewhere, flying somewhere by myself, I like to learn. How do I do this? Where do I park? How do I go in? How do I find my way? Then, all about it. So I just wanted to experience that, and I did. And it was only about 4 days. It went to Cozumel, and that was fascinating. But the reason I wrote the blog post was that I had signed up from this little side trip when we were stopped in Cozumel, and we were going out to some Mayan ruins. And I was excited about seeing that. And there was a group of maybe 12 of us, and we had gone on a little bus, and we got there, and pretty quickly when we went out of the gate, I saw that there was another woman. It was an older woman, and she had a cane, and she was hobbling, and we were hardly even onto the uneven ground. Rocks, and you could see the terrain you were going to be walking on, and we came to the first stopping place, the first ruins, and I observed her, and so I went and sat with her while they were describing the ruins there at that particular spot. And she said, I just can't go on. I'm just going to have to go back to the entry gate and sit there while everyone goes on to see the ruins. It wasn't a long tour, maybe 45 minutes or so. And I made a quick decision right then and there that I was going back with her, because the empathy in me said, this woman needs a friend. And the way she was walking, I wasn't even convinced with her cane that she could get back to the entry gate. And so as they went on, we bid them farewell, told them to have a good time, and I walked back with her. And we sat at the entry gate where they had refreshments. We got some lemonade, and I thought, so what about the Mayan ruins? They'll always be there. I can go back. If I really want to see that, I can go another time. But you know what? You do regret. You do regret if you didn't help somebody in their moment of need. It could have been me. It could have been the other way around. And I would hope that someone would do the same thing. I know they did with my mother and other elders that I saw that needed care, and I hope others would do that too. So when we got back to the cruise port, I even volunteered, although you know I like to walk, and I walk at least 2 miles a day. I voluntarily got in the little buggy to be carried back to the port because I wanted her to feel okay. I wanted her to feel like this was an okay experience. That's why I wrote the blog post, and I had read an article or a chapter in a book by Brene Brown. The name was Daring Greatly. She shares about a time in graduate school where she was just a professor left a lasting impression on her. She was so self-conscious. She felt like everyone else was above her. She felt like the professor, if she turned in her work, her writing, that all she would get back would be criticism. And she was so surprised when she sat at a table with the professor, and the professor was so kind. She pulled up a chair and discussed her work with her. Didn't criticize, just gave her a few things that she might improve. She said it really, really touched her, and she would never forget how that made her feel, and she wanted to pass that on. So that's all I'm really conveying to you today, is how we can help others. Now, the other thing I said that I was going to talk about was that when we do have that gene within us, though, that compassion and empathy gene, and we want to help others, we can get overwhelmed if we do too much. We can become overwhelmed if we're a teacher. We can become overwhelmed if we're a minister. We can become overwhelmed if we're a neighbor. Whatever it is that we do, certainly in the nursing profession and the medical profession, they can become overwhelmed. And when you do, you need to recognize it and stop and give yourself some rest. Maybe you're going through a certain time and you're fighting your own battles with health. You need to unvolunteer yourself from everything. Is what you first need to do. And recognize that you're the one. You're the one that needs the healing right now. And the others will be okay, because we know in this world that where there is a need, another will step up. And we claim that. We know it to be true. So this morning, I thank you for coming out on Super Bowl Sunday and spending it with us. What a beautiful thing to do. We enjoy having people here at Unity of Gulfport. We feel like you'll come because you want to hear the spiritual teachings, you want to hear the lovely music, and we know that you'll come back for the fellowship and the spiritual growth. I hope you'll have a beautiful day and a beautiful week. Thank you for your time.
Very awesome. Very fabulous. So now we're going to do our offering prayer. And thank you, everyone, for such a service. Repeating myself. So now we give expression to our appreciation for all that is offered here at Unity of Gulfport. If you have an offering, please take your offering in your hands and say along with me. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I give in love, and I trust in God. Thank you very much.
Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling until then. Who cares about the clouds if we're together? Just sing the song and bring the sunny weather. Happy trails to you till we meet again. Some trails are happy ones, others are blue. It's the way you ride the trail that counts. Here's a happy one for you. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling until then. Who cares about the clouds if we're together? Just bring the song and bring the sunny weather. Happy trails to you till we meet again.
Lovely, lovely. And different. People will come and they'll say, you know, I've never heard music like that in a church before. I know, we're different, but aren't we joyful? Isn't it fun? And I just see Jesus up there laughing too, because he was joyous too. By the way, we do teach according to Jesus' teachings, but we just don't teach the dogma and doctrine that was said by other people about him. We teach what he said. We're so grateful to be here today, and we say another prayer for our friends J.R., Horace, and others that are experiencing some difficulty right now. We just pray that they will be comforted and their pain will go away. And we're just so thankful for these tithes and offerings, and we ask that they would be blessed and used for the absolute highest good. Amen. Now, we don't have many youth, but we would ask that they would come up. You going to come up this morning? Yes, okay, here you are. Oh, yes. Yeah. Okay, we love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. And we behold the Christ in you, empowering you to do great things. And so it is.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let
of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.